Hi, Lisa here. The Mobile Story, Narrative Practices with Locative Technologies is a book edited by Jason Farman and published in 2014. I'm presenting about the first chapter, which was written by the book's editor, and which provides a summary and key themes from the book. So firstly, let's get into who is Jason Farman. So Farman is a professor and program director at the University of Maryland. He's written 2 books as well as many articles on the topic of mobile media studies. And besides this book, The Mobile Story, he's also edited a textbook on the foundations of mobile media studies. His website also has a portfolio with some examples of his work in this space. The Mobile Story is a collection of essays about digital storytelling using mobile devices. In the first chapter, Site Specificity, Pervasive Computing, and the Reading Interface, Farman walks the reader through a primer on storytelling in the mobile media age, as well as the key themes throughout the book. He believes that mobile storytelling offers the ability to attach multiple stories to specific places. As he writes, quote, "Storytelling with mobile media takes the stories of place and attaches them to that place, offering an almost infinite number of stories that can be layered onto a single site." He grounds this thesis in the idea that phones have become so familiar we don't even notice them. And if we can shift our perspective to new ways of using them, quote, "the results can be revolutionary," unquote. Farman uses a description of this 2010 Windows phone commercial to demonstrate the common narrative of the phone as a distraction from life and people. This cell phone commercial is a little bit different and uses storytelling. From the evolution of the mobile phone in our lives, Farman provides some other key concepts. 3 of them are outlined here. Site specificity, which is where the location-based technology comes in, and it refers to the quality specific to a particular place. Urban markup, which is split into durable inscriptions like stone plaques or other permanent markers, and ephemeral inscriptions like banners or graffiti that are more temporary. And Farman makes the case that mobile media storytelling falls somewhere in the spectrum between the durable and the ephemeral inscriptions. And then the third is creative misuse, which is really breaking the technology and using it in creative ways. Through all 3 of these, but especially through creative misuse, the chapter asks the question about who gets to share the narrative. And Farman offers that smartphone narratives may give access to those who don't typically get to tell the story of a space because of where it exists. I think it's interesting that Farman recognizes and outlines some of the problems with narrative and story, that of who gets to tell the story of a space, like that mostly those with economic wealth and political clout are able to place durable descriptions in a city. But he also recognizes the limitations of narratives to reflect the fragmented experiences of life. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in the discussion questions at the end. But he really makes the argument that the link between mobile medium narratives and location can expand possibilities and participation. This example is from the book in chapter 2. The authors and creators created an app where a visitor would be able to pull up information about the artifacts at the former fort. This particular image shows the historical narrative a visitor would pull up on their phone as they stand in front of an old apple tree that has been preserved on the site. In this example, the authors look at intermediality, the relationships between content and the medium, between people, time, and space, between participants, and even between people and information. Let's go on to another example. This example is not from the book, but a local example of locative storytelling through music. On a number of trails in Waterloo, one can scan the QR code to listen to a playlist of music by local artists while walking or biking on the trail. Although not a traditional oral narrative, there is a connection to location and the story of feelings that come from the music related to the trail and to walking and to that experience of being in that place. I'm going to turn it over to Heather now. I've given you the introduction to the book and its themes, and she's going to dive in a little bit deeper on one of the chapters and some more examples. And then we'll come together after her presentation for some discussion questions that we've prepared together. So thanks.